Welcome to Abuse Exposed, a podcast about the secret of abuse. Each episode, we deliver intriguing Christian and personal experiences on abuse and how to overcome it. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional mental or medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified mental health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical or mental condition. Now, here's your host, live from Texas, ISpeakMotivate.
Hello, this is ISpeakMotivate, and I'm so excited, very excited to be with you all today for our episodes. You know, it's just great to know that people are here ready to start a new life, transition into the person that they always wanted to be. And it takes one step at a time. Now we're doing quotes of the days for these episodes here. Just a new series on me reading a quote and then just getting deeper into it. Just want to encourage you guys during your journey because that's what we need, encouragement. Now from RebeccaBurns.com, empowering women, quote, "When I am asked why she doesn't leave abuse, I say, she stays because the fear of leaving is greater than the fear of staying. She will leave when the fear of staying is greater than the fear of leaving." We're going to say that again. When I am asked why she doesn't leave abuse, I say, she stays because the fear of leaving is greater than the fear of staying. She will leave when the fear of staying is greater than the fear of leaving. And you know what? We talked about, what keeps some victims in abusive relationships. We talked about the victim blaming, victim shaming, the trauma bond, and things like that. And this quote just proved another point. Sometimes the fear of leaving is stronger. The fear of the unknown, the fear of no one loving you, the fear of getting the disapproval from your family and friends. The feeling of, oh, I made a mistake and I don't want people to talk to me about it. It's that leaving is admitting that I made a mistake and I just can't take any other blows to my self-esteem. So I'm staying here. Even though I'm afraid of him or her, I just can't do it. Because I'm more scared of the external environment. And I can definitely relate to that because it really took me to the age of 25 to really truly separate from my parents physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, financially, when I was 25. From my abusive parents. It took a long time because on one occasion I did leave at the age of 21, but still I had open form of communication and they were still verbally and spiritually and financially and psychologically abusing me, even though they couldn't physically abuse me anymore because I was married. I still was going through that and I hated myself every day. And even it is crazy, even though I was still far away from them, I was still feeling weak and hated myself because of the things they would say to me. It would be sometimes where I'd be having a great day and I just couldn't answer the phone because I knew as soon as I answered, some ugly words were going to be said to me that's going to ruin my whole day and make me stress, but I was still, doing the communication and things like that. And then some family members said, oh, they've, changed and stuff like that. And then they visited me in the other state. So I thought that, everything was fine. I thought everything was fine, and I thought I released everything because I let my dad know all the pain and stuff that was done to me, never feeling good enough and things like that. And I couldn't even say it to his face. I was so scared I had to say it in my bathroom, even though it was my apartment. My husband and I's apartment. And I couldn't even say it to his face because I was so scared and stuff like that. And I thought we reached a breakthrough, so that I went down there to Atlanta, believing the fantasy of a great family, because they put the mask on, to do that love bombing phase of making sure that you feel as if they love you so heavily and everything is going to change, and it doesn't. And so, then what ended up happening is that as soon as I got to Atlanta, there it goes. The love bombing slowly dwindled away, and then I was manipulated again, and I felt like that scared 12-year-old girl again, and I was 25, but felt like a scared little girl again. And I was starting to be stronger in the other state that I was in. Even though, even verbally, I was getting abused and stuff like that, I was still growing stronger. But it was like all of that hard work, I regressed into a child. I became a child because of the fear of my dad and my mom. And so what ended up happening is that they became more and more scarier. As they get older, abusers do become more violent and more erratic, and it causes you to fear more when they get older, and really, really was scared. And I was like, you know what? This is too much for me. I cannot. I just left that day. My husband and I, we left that day, and we just lived in hotel to hotel because he just came in 3 days, because they said that he and I will be able to stay to get ourselves on our feet. And so I was, consistently making sure that I'm looking out for Joss. Because I'm slowly seeing the mask being peeled off as my husband is coming, because he was still paying the rent on the other apartment. So he was staying in the other state while I was there by myself. But I seen as he was about to come, the mask starts slowly coming off until it was monstrous. And then the third day that my husband was there, the ugly acting started being worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I was like, you know what? I'm more scared to stay here than to leave. I thought about all of our future and this, that, and other. And I'm like, I don't deserve this, but definitely my husband doesn't deserve this either. He wasn't even born into the family, and he's getting pushed into this ugly, horrific dynamic. So I was like, you know what? We're going. And we were living from hotel to hotel. I was the only person that had a job, but I was just depending on God during that time, to protect us and hold us. We would go all the way down to Macon, Georgia, to this little rinky-dink hotel. Travel about 2 hours on the weekends to have a cheaper hotel rate, in order to survive. And then during the week, we stayed in the hotels that were closer to Atlanta, so that I could go to work. Because the thing that ended up happening was, when I was in that abusive dynamic, when I was there by my own, I slowly started to see the mask go down. So I got into survival mode. I'm like, okay, look, I'm going to save some of my money. I'm going to apply to an apartment complex. And it doesn't have to be anything super nice. It just has to be something that gets us out of here as soon as possible. So that's what I did. I did the apartment complex, and I told my husband, if my parents happen to call you about anything, don't let them know about it. I didn't tell anyone about it because I just didn't want it to leak. Because as you know, abusers sabotage plans, and they also make sure that they induce more fear into you during that time. So kept it quiet. Then we ended up putting the deposit on the place. And so we were living in hotels until that apartment opened up, because the apartment didn't open up yet. So we called the young lady, which was so nice, and we let her know the situation. You know, like an emergency came up, and is there a way that we can at least get in there a month? Is there a way we can get in there a month earlier? And she said yes. So we were living in different hotels for a month, and God blessed it, and we were able to be in our little survival apartment. And you know, even though we were going from hotel to hotel, it was adventurous, because you know what, we were finally free. And most of all, I was finally free from my abusive parents, and I was able to truly be who I was always meant to be, even though it seems so unstable to go from hotel to hotel, and you're going to work from different, hotels, putting, the GPS in to go to different hotels. You have a sense of freedom living that abusive relationship, and it makes you excited because you're not under their thumb anymore. It's like it is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, it hurts. It hurts. But you know what? We were able to go through it, and now we're at a good place. 2 years, no contact. We're steadily growing every day, and I'm steadily, trying to be who I always wanted to be, and not who I was told to be finally. So I'm growing, and I'm loving it. And so I just want to encourage you guys to not wait till you're too scared to stay. Okay? Because those fears that you have, they're fears that are built off of that negative self-talk that was given to you from the abuser. They're putting all those fears in you, or their flying monkeys are putting that, inside you. But once you get out there, it's difficult, but it's not as bad as you think it is, because abusers lie and make it seem like it's going to be worse than it is, and it's not. It's not. So I want to encourage you. You definitely have this. You have this situation, whatever you're going through, because God is with you. And I'll tell you the full story of my exit at a later date, because there's a lot of different stuff that went on during the exit and all of that. I'll do that on another episode, because it's important. But I just wanted to get to the point today of, she stays because the fear of leaving is greater than the fear of staying, and she will leave when the fear of staying is greater than the fear of leaving. So I just wanted to put that little personal example out there for you. It just came to a point I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff now is going to affect my husband and is going to affect our future, because abusers can do devious stuff to sabotage not only your right now, but your future. So